I'm gonna tell you the first thing I tell them, you don't even really want to get in this business for real. This is a fucked up business. It's like, you know what I'm saying, it's give or take. It's like a whole lot of times it don't even got nothing to do with your talent. A whole lot of times it got to do with the decisions you make.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could.
The plane, just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed.
It's where the world would be today.
Right.
The trajectory of the world would have been a lot different had she been on this planet, you know, because she was an opinion leader. She was one of those people that if she did something first, everyone followed suit. So yeah, she was just building herself as a brand, you know? So again, the trajectory of the world would have been a lot different because she was a very forward thinker.
Everyone's heard the whispers, NDAs, unconscious boarding, pilots who shouldn't have been flying. But tonight, we're done whispering. Static Major tried to blow the lid off an industry that rewards silence with survival. 8 months later, he was gone. Jaguar Wright just pointed a finger at the billion-dollar boardroom nobody dares to name. The crash footage is real. The heartbreak on Dame Dash's face is real. And the unanswered questions have been festering for 24 years. So let's connect the dots, the labels hope you'll ignore, who benefits when fearless voices go missing, and why do their stories keep disappearing along with them? All right, before we chase rumors and Reddit threads, let's hear straight from the man who watched the machine chew up artists for breakfast. Static Major didn't sugarcoat a thing, he called the game exactly what it is and paid the ultimate price for saying it out loud.
I'm gonna tell you the first thing I tell you don't even really want to get in this business for real. This is a business. It's like, you know what I'm saying, it's give or take. It's like a whole lot of times it don't even got nothing to do with your talent. A whole lot of times it got to do with the decisions you make. I mean, a whole lot of y'all probably don't know, but you know what I'm saying, I'm responsible for like majority of the hits that came out, the big ones, your favorite ones, the last decade. I did Pony, I did Dirty South, Can Y'all Really Feel Me, East Coast Feel Me, I did Rock the Boat, I did It's So Contagious, Returns My Pages. My first time working with Dr. Drake. What's up, Doc? Me and Doc put that down, and Doc moved so fast. We did the song. By the time I got back in Louisville, I heard the radio. That's how fast it moved when you do a monster joint like that. I did Same OG. I did So Anxious, which a whole lot of babies was made that year. You know what I'm saying? Courtesy of me. Y'all like to get back to the population. I wrote, Shorty, say what's your price? Just to back it up, you can hold my ice. My first time working with Nas, you know what I'm saying? And once again, it was magic, you know what I'm saying? What else I did? Don't change the game for these hoes. We play the game like we suppose. Yeah, it was me on that hook too. And then called me for the video, but it's all good.
That few-second soundbite isn't a throwaway line. It's a confession wrapped in a warning. Static is telling every young creative watching that the industry only has 2 lanes, obey in silence or get steamrolled. And when he lists 10 years of platinum hooks, he's proven the point. Talent alone will never protect you. But before the system tightened the noose around his neck, Static found a partner whose voice could bulldoze any industry gate. Together, they redesigned R&B. And that made the Puppet Masters very nervous. Picture 1999, dial-up internet, TRL at peak chaos, and every label executive scrambling to decode the new Timbaland drum patterns. In the center of that storm, Aaliyah and Static Major, carving a lane nobody could touch. Even people who were there admit the energy felt untouchable.
The world would be today.
Right.
The trajectory of the world would have been a lot different had she been on this planet, you know, because she was an opinion leader. She was one of those people that if she did something first, everyone followed suit. So yeah, she was just building herself as a brand, you know? So again, the trajectory of the world would have been a lot different because she was a very forward thinker.
She was just like that, man. Like she didn't deserve that, man. That wasn't for her, that wasn't for her. And, you know, as for Static, that's my man's right there. Me, him, and Black.
Dame's eyes don't lie. He knows the power Aaliyah carried. And Magoo, he can barely finish a sentence without choking up. Their grief isn't nostalgia, it's survivor's guilt. They watch two genuine innovators rewire pop music, then watch the same innovators vanish while the suits cash the checks. So ask yourself, if Aaliyah and Static were the golden goose, why rush them onto an overloaded Cessna with a pilot high on coke? Because when your art starts outranking your puppet master's agenda, the safest place for them is miles above the clouds. And sometimes those clouds never let you come back down. 6 pieces of luggage too heavy, 8 souls in a 6-seat cabin, 1 pilot who should never have held the yoke. That is not misfortune. That is a recipe. Let's walk into Marsh Harbor Sunset and watch the trap spring shut.
Just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather, suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed.
It was never investigated. Hype was never questioned. Lenny Kravitz made a statement, and it was never publicized. She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash and what happened leading up to it? Please, someone answer that.
Do you feel like the night?
Why the would you need to sign a don't ask about a plane crash if it was accidental?
Do you feel like?
Riddle me that. Riddle me that. Work with me here in this moment.
And I'm gonna ask you.
A plane crash should be accidental.
Should be.
Why would any testimony about what happened leading up to it need to be covered under a non-disclosure agreement if there wasn't foul play?
Weight manifests ignored, a pilot flying on a suspended license, and every eyewitness legally muzzled the moment the smoke cleared. Accidents leave paperwork. Cover-ups leave silence. This silence is deafening, but silence can be shattered. One voice, raw, unfiltered, already branded difficult, ignited a wildfire the boardrooms can't put out. Industry insiders whisper, Jaguar Wright roars. She is the nightmare of every executive who bets on NDAs to outlive memory. Listen carefully. She is about to stitch motives to names.
He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one. I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment.
When Jaguar says the plane was a chess piece, she is not presenting a theory. She is filing an indictment. Whether a courtroom ever hears it is irrelevant. The court of public opinion is now in session and the jury is streaming at 1080p. The accusations get darker. Ritual whispers, spiritual murder, and the million-dollar question, who keeps the lights on when the brightest stars are snuffed out? The receipts arrive next. When a tragedy looks too neat, people reach for darker explanations. In hip-hop, you'll hear the word ritual whispered in green rooms, more than you'd ever expect. Two veteran voices say, Aaliyah's death wasn't just an accident, it was a sacrifice.
Aaliyah, what they did with her is the same thing that Quaker Mutua talks about in his thing, where he talks about they could get the energy of a young girl and put them in the bed with an old man, and they can draw her energy. Aaliyah, what they did with Aaliyah is, although they sacrificed it, they did the movie Akasha, which means black substance and it's also a goddess in India and in Africa. They got Aaliyah, they didn't really kill her right off. What they did was they took Aaliyah, and they was doing rituals with her for maybe about a year or two after she so-called supposedly died.
Dismiss it as fringe if you like, but Bobby's been the underground spiritual translator for 3 decades. When he calls out a blood price, conspiracy forums catch fire.
This, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a, you know what I'm saying, that was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people, you know what I'm saying, whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair, and it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, you know, your gut always warns you. That your gut never lies to you. And something like luggage and clothes and jewelry and all this madness that we worship is called false idols. We need to really look at the bigger picture right now, and look at how honey could be here right now.
That's Mary J., the queen of hip-hop soul, blurting spiritual M on live TV while Free stares at the floor. They don't spell it out, but the silence after that line screams volumes. 2 respected women in the game just validated the ritual talk without violating their NDAs. If you still think ritual is clickbait, wait till you see what happened to the man who tried to document the plot in his own handwriting, and the friend who can't say his name without choking up. Static Major didn't just lose a collaborator when Aaliyah died, he lost family. That grief sparked a mission to expose what really happened. And according to Jaguar Wright, the evidence vanished right after Static did.
That dude was a good dude, man. Like, that dude was the salt of the earth. That was an influential dude. Like, he was a wise dude. He could say some of the wisest things you would ever heard anybody ever say. He wasn't the type of dude that would be looking for conflict. He could kill you with kindness, man. In the apartment that we had, you know, he had his bed over there. Smoke had his bed over there. My bed was in the corner. Black bed was over there. Our beds was all in the living room. You know what I mean? He had a chick over there, had a girl. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We just did the young guy stuff, man, with the chicks, and had fun. And so, like, it was like you said, college. Like, he was a college classmate, but he was my man. Like, it's just, to this day, man, I'm like, yo, I just wish that, I'm trying to hold the tears back thinking about Static dying like that, because I always say to myself, why did he have to put the needle in the wrong place? My man should still be here. He was going to do another Player album, man. Like, the world lost an entertainer, but Black and Smokey lost a friend.
Listen to that voice crack. Magu slept in Static's room the night he died because heartbreak wouldn't let him leave. That's not nostalgia. That's a man guarding a fallen brother's legacy. Static had 10 years of platinum stories and, allegedly, a journal full of names, dates, and motives. The pages disappear. Static flatlines on a routine catheter procedure, and insiders call it an accident. 2 deaths, 1 pattern. Remove the truth tellers before the truth gets out. Here's the blueprint. Talented woman challenges the system, gets painted as difficult, then either signs NDAs or ends up in obituaries. Aaliyah rejected R. Kelly's advances, spoke mistreatment, and pushed for creative control. 8 months later, she's gone. Coincidence? Let's examine the pattern.
He signed to Jive Records, and I myself, when I first came out, I'm signed to Blackground Records, which is owned by my uncle, but he had a joint venture with Jive. And he also managed R. Kelly. So when I got my deal, they thought it'd be a great idea for him to produce the whole first album. And he did the whole thing, which was a great album. And Back and Forth, of course, was a great single, and that was how that relationship happened.
Okay. Someone wrote about you that you are the new Lauryn Hill because she's a hip-hop singer.
No.
The new Lauryn Hill.
Oh.
Notice how Preds always use family connections to gain access? Uncle Barry vouches for R. Kelly. Young Aaliyah trusts family judgment. And boom, she's trapped in a web she never saw coming. That pattern repeats across decades.
You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is and the boss's boss don't get no. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the go when you get over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me.
Think about that mental torture. Two women who allegedly survived a same power structure, forced to sit on live TV and discuss another victim's death like they don't know exactly who ordered the hit. That's not just silencing, that's psychological warfare designed to break spirits and ensure future compliance. But the silencing doesn't stop with gag orders. When NDAs aren't enough, the machine has other methods, and the medical coincidences are getting impossible to ignore. Static Major dies from a routine catheter procedure gone wrong. Kim Porter dies from pneumonia days before releasing a tell-all memoir. Both had stories about the same inner circle. Both died in hospitals under medical complications. Both had their evidence disappear immediately after death.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you. Louisville R&B star Stephen Garrett was laid to rest today. Known in the music industry as Static, Garrett died Monday from complications from a medical procedure. He was only 33 years old. So today, the local and national music community said farewell, and WHAS 11's Kelsey Starks was there.
A gold casket now holds the body of Stephen Static Garrett. His private funeral held hundreds. There was standing room only in the sanctuary for friends, family, and others.
February 25th, 2008. Static walks into Baptist Hospital East for what should be a standard procedure. Hours later, he's dead from respiratory arrest due to catheter placement complications. His family sued for malpractice. But the real evidence, that alleged diary, vanished the same day he died. Look at those headlines. Sudden medical complications, unexpected respiratory failure, pneumonia-related complications, different years, same vague medical language, same sealed autopsy results, same moguls in the background of both stories. When whistleblowers start dying from routine medical procedures, that's not coincidence, that's a signature. When you can't silence the voice, you buy it. When you can't erase the legacy, you control it. Static Major wrote a decade of platinum hits and died before seeing proper credit. Aaliyah's unreleased vocals sit in vaults while her estate battles for scraps. This idence, this is strategy. Think about that frustration. Static penned the hooks that defined late 90s R&B, but when he's gone, suddenly nobody remembers his contributions. That's not industry oversight. That's deliberate memory holding to protect the brands that profited from his genius. The pattern is surgical. Let the creators build the catalog, then erase their fingerprints after they're gone. Aaliyah's family fights for decades to get her music on streaming, while mystery executives cash checks from her unreleased vault. Static's family gets a malpractice settlement, while his hooks generate millions for artists who barely knew his name. But here's the real question that should keep you awake tonight. If voices this powerful can be silenced, erased, and monetized without consequence, who's next on the chopping block? Jaguar already warned us. Even the most vigilant parents can't shield their children in this game, because the machine is engineered to keep families in dark and profits in the light. When the industry decides a star is worth more silent than singing, mom and dad aren't even invited to the negotiation.
The music industry is a very confusing place, and sometimes things happen without people knowing. There are people that are actively working to keep people in the dark, actively working to constantly change stories, change reality, change everything, and they can do it all with a press release, just a press release. So I don't want to say anything that would frame her family in a negative light. I don't, because I don't think I can honestly say I believe they had no idea until it was too late. And I can tell you right now, it's easy to do in the music industry. Girl goes into the studio, she's supposed to be working in the studio. The first couple of sessions, the brother comes, parents come, everything seems fine, you know. Then it's, we're gonna be working late, we really gotta finish this song. Somebody will drive y'all home, I promise she'll be home right after. And she do come home right after, but nobody asks what happened to her in the car or on the way home, or what happened as soon as they left the studio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people, y'all don't understand, like, the tactful nature, the tactical nature in which this sex and this child, y'all don't understand. Like, these people go heavy, man. They go heavy. They'll have the assistant sitting in the kitchen with the mom while they molest in the bathroom talking about, yeah, we going over music, or yeah, we're practicing a script, or yeah, we need time alone with the child.
That was the confession they thought died with Static Major. We traced every NDA, empty autopsy, and silent playlist back to an industry that monetizes mourning. Now you have the receipts. What happens next is on you. Will you keep streaming the hits and letting executives trade lives for chart positions? Or will you share this story, demand answers, and protect the next Aaliyah before another candlelight vigil trends? If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.